Hello, my name is Olivia Schlamp, and I'm a sophomore studying International Relations and Arabic with the William & Mary University of St. Andrews Joint Degree Program. And this summer, for the 2023 William & Mary Fall Undergraduate Research Symposium, with the funding of the Monroe Scholars Program and the help of my wonderful research advisor, Professor Clemens, I studied how the American Census defines white and what this means for racial categorization. So to give a bit of background information on what the census is that the American Census, officially known as the decennial census of population and housing, counts all living residents in the United States every 10 years by household, recording these residents' names, ages, races, and ethnicities. This information is collected by the U.S. government so they can get an accurate count of the population of the United States and get a snapshot of where people are residing. Information from the census helps the government and local authorities to plan and fund local services such as education and infrastructure. And most importantly for my topic, the census allows the government to track the races and ethnicities of Americans to influence public health, public insurance programs like Medicaid, and inform legislative decisions about minority treatment and care. With the last census taking place in 2020, there was one question focused on race and one question focused on ethnicity. The question pertaining to ethnicity was as follows. Is person one of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin? And then these were the options. And at the end, there was a print, for example, with a spot where you could fill in what you self-identify as. And the question pertaining to race was as follows. What is person one's race? Mark X, one or more boxes, meaning you could select as many boxes as you want, and there was another option for some other race, and you got to fill it in if you wanted to. These questions in the current census led to my research questions of 1, what are the flaws within these categories? And 2, how do these flaws affect those who don't feel as though the census properly represents them? After much independent research through books, media, journals, and online resources, I discovered the answers to these questions and outlined my answers in an 18-page paper that explains how specifically those of Jewish, Latino, and Middle Eastern descent have found themselves in the crossfire of changing racial classifications. These groups, which were previously viewed as distinctly different from whites, are defined by the white category. These groups also have distinctly different experiences than those whose whiteness was never questioned, reflecting how if races and ethnicities can encompass different people at different times, how can these categories have any distinct meaning or purpose? These categories have changed in the past and likely will change in the future, leading to many scholars declaring an abolish of all racial or ethnic categorization or the creation of more categories. And due to racial categories being imposed on American citizens, institutions have been able to take advantage of these categories to meet their agenda or severely harm underprivileged groups, making the categories based on the results the institutions want to receive. Because Latinos don't have their own racial category, but rather just have their own ethnicity category, they don't receive special care by Medicaid that other minority groups do. These categories also lead to the undercounting of minority groups, excluding Native Hawaiians from the social welfare help other Natives receive. Numbers of side minority groups change because the census changes categories very, very frequently. Even after protesting, Jews, Latinos, and Middle Easterners can't seem to get a category when they want it, but only get a category when American institutions have an agenda behind this. And I know that was a lot and went by really, really fast, so I please ask you to learn more and reflect on this. Next time you fill out the census, ask yourself, do you feel properly represented? Why or why not? This isn't an issue that should only be black or white. Thank you.